Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Gopika Jeevanasmaranam, Govinda Govinda. Sadguru Maharaj ki Jai. Shri Kanto Matulo Yasya Janani Sarvamangala. Janakaha Shankaro Devaha Tam Vande Kunjaranam. Vakundam Nallamanamunda Mamalara no Kunda Meningade. Kondu Tupa Tribeni Tumbike Yambaram Tapa Malchar Vardamak. Vagishadya Sumanasa Sarvatana Vakrame. Ennatvagatya Suhutam Namam Gajanam. Torvidvikta Chutbihi Spatikamani Makshamalantadanam. Aste Nekena Matmanstavisukam Pustakam Chaparena. Vasam Kundendu Shankas Spatikamaniva Vasamana Samana. Same Vagdevate Nusudane Sarvata Suprasannam. Pujantam Rama Rameti Maduram Maduraksharam. Arukhi Kavita Shaka Vande Valmiki Kokilam. Anjaneya Matipataranam Kanchanadri Kamaniya Vigraham. Parijada Darumulavasinam Bhavayami Pavamanandanam. Yatretra Gunadakirtanam Tapratakatamastakанjalim. Vashvavari Paripurnarocanam Arjunamadaratcha Santakam. Manojavam Marutamlyabegam Jitendriyam Divatam Varishtam. Patatpacham Vararyudamukyam Shiramadutam Sirasadamami. Buddhirbalam Ishoyadiriyam Nidvayatvam Rogatam. Ajatyam Vakpadutvam Chahalmachmanadave. Anjale Undrapatra, Anjale Undraitavi. Anjale Undraraga Ayurkageri. Anjale Undrapatra, Anange Kanda Ailarure. Anjale Undrevaita, Vandam Yaritukapa, Sharege Namaha, Sharege Namaha, Sharege Namaha. Janaki Kanta Smaranam Jai Jai Rama Rama. Sadguru Swavinaha Jai, Anjaneya Swavinaha Jai. By the grace of Shirapati Srimad Narayana, we are blessed to have a monthly satsang on Ramayana. As in the last month satsang, we have seen about Sita Kalyanam. That shows that on the eve of Panguni Uttram, Rama got married with Sita, and at the same time, turbulence also had taken place. Even though to prove that he is Lord Narayana, Parashurama came to fight with Rama in the pretext of giving his own incarnation as Srimad Narayana. The whole it's like submerging an ocean, river with an ocean. Like that, Parashurama, he was in a mission to submit his own incarnation, that is the manifestation of anger. That you can say. The Bhagavan's anger's proportion is Parashurama Avatara. To submit his own incarnation, there was a fight, there was a tussle between Rama and Parashurama. And through his arrow, Rama got all the powers of Parashurama. And Parashurama, after submitting with whole heart, he became contented and he's decided that I will never fight with anyone. I would go to Mahendra mountain to continue my austerities as well as my penance, to pray to Srimad Narayana, and at the same time I must do something welfare for the people. With that motion, he has left the Ayodhya. And Rama and Sita, both of them lived for 12 years in Dasarath's in that palace, serving their own parents. Vibhushriya Vishturiva Amareshwaraha. With that, the Balakandam concludes. With that, the conclusion of Balakandam. Vibhushriyaha Vishturiva Amareshwaraha. They both lived like how Lord Vishnu and Lakshmi resides in Vaikunta. The same manner, the same composition, they both of them lived together for 12 years, serving their own parents. With that ends Balakandam. And now comes Ayodhya Kandam. That is the turning point of Ramayana. Or else, the last month itself, the satsang is over. And there is no point of conducting Ramayana. And why we are conducting Ramayana in third session is because of Ayodhya Kanda. And in the Ayodhya Kanda, Bojakavi mentions why he highlights it as the greatest Kanda in Ramayana, because there Bojakavi talks about Mantra's arrival. And in that way, Rama goes to 14 years of, he was banished to forest to show how composed a person is. How a person has to be when, when he is subjected to trouble. And that is shown in Ayodhya Kanda. In the first sloka, Ayodhya Kanda commences Gachata Matula Kulam Bharatena Mahatmana Shatrugnaha Nitya Shatrugnaha Nita Priti Puraskritaha. If you closely observe that sloka, there, if the word, uh, there the word departure comes often. What is the crux behind it? Gachata. The word Gachata means the person who's who's departing. In that, the main four characters, they are in the position to depart from Ayodhya. Who are the position? Like, who are those four people? The four in this, the four people are Gachata Matula Kulam, Bharatena Mahatmana, and Bharata was about to go to his uncle's house as his uncle wanted to see Bharata. He had heard about Bharata's marriage. When Rama was married to Sita, simultaneously Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrugna, they also got married. But his uncle was in a state of despair that he wanted to see Bharata, who was recently married, to accompany him Shatrugnaha, Nitya Shatrugnaha. His younger brother Shatrugna accompanied him. As in the first, as in the first Upanyasa, in the first session, I talked about Rama Avatara. There, Shatrugna is the personification of Bhagavad Bhakta's Bhakta. That's what Kulashekara Alvar said in Mukundamala. Tad Britya Britya. Paricharaka Britya Britya Brittasya Britya Itimam Smaralokanatha. That I am devotees, I am to, I'm devoted to whom, I'm devoted to whom, if you ask me, I won't say Bhagavan. Because I am not qualified to be Bhagavan's devotee. To be a Bhagavad Bhatta, I am not at all qualified. As what Bhagavan, as what Bhagavan required, as what Bhagavan proposes, I disposes. As whatever we propose, Bhagavan disposes, and right now I'm saying is vice versa. Because Bhagavan has given us the Shastras, and to some extent, and to the least extent, I can follow. I can't follow whatever Bhagavan has prescribed in Shastras. 100% I can't follow. But I am incapable. But to those extent, to those people who are really capable in following the Shastras, to them I am indebted. That's what the Baba Kulasekara Alvar said in Mukundamala. The same Baba Shatrugna had. He is not wholly devoted to Rama, but he is devoted to Bharata. Even though Bharata was unconditionally, he loved his own brother as Bhagavan. That you can see in the later stage of Ayodhya Kanda. That shows how how a great Bhagavad Bhakta Bharata was. To accompany Bharata, Shatrugna followed him to visit his own uncle. Shatrugna Nitya Shatrugnaha Nitaha Priti Puraskritaha. And here Valmiki has picturized Shatrugna. He has given us the definition of Shatrugna. Actually, the meaning Shatrugna means one who is capable of handling enemies, who is capable of eliminating enemies. Shatrugnaha. Here he meant who are those enemies? Apart from a very good warrior, he's expert in killing, is slaying the inherent enemies. What are those inherent enemies? If you ask, I will say the inherent enemies are Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Mada, and Matsarya. And these are the enemies that bind us in the samsara. And Shatrugna shows us that for a person to be a devotee of Bhagavan's devotee, he must get rid of all the six malices of all the six enemies in order to cleanse himself and such that to devote yourself to the devotee. To show that Shatrugnaha Nitya Shatrugnaha Nitaha Pritihi Puraskritaha. Which Shatrugna along with Bharata went to his uncle's house. Later, Tatrapi Nivasantau Tau Tapyamano Chakamatah Bhrataro Smaratam Virau Vriddham Dasaratham Nripam. And that time Dasaratha was very old. He was ready to give up his kingship duties. And at that time, he was conducting the penance. Lot of Maharshis, they were engaged in penance. At that time, they all opened their eyes. As in Aranya Kanda, there the rishis, while they were about to contemplate on the Bhagavan, on the Paramatma, when Rama came at Dandakaranya, at that time they all opened their eyes. Divyajnanova Panyaste Ravam Dishwa Maharshaya. Those who had those who have the divine vision, those who can predict the future, and those who have the capability to predict the future, and those who can see Bhagavan like how we see another person, to those people, they open their eyes 24 bar 7. That is really strange because if we see them, they will literally close their eyes because we don't have that much power. Equivalent to the rishis in this world, you can say sannyasi, a monk. And why we can't touch the monk? And why we can't touch like another person? Why we can't touch a monk? It is because we have lot of bad qualities that is inherent inside us, and that is the reason we are being separated. And that is the difference. And while you see the monk, he's simply gazing with the cow, and he touches the goat, and to him the lion would be in a composed state. It would forget its own quality. That is because of the Divyajnana, because of the divine quality of continuously contemplating on the Paramatma. Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. They have attained the stage of Brahman. And all the Maharshis, they were all gazing. They were all looking at Dasaratha. Why they were looking at Dasaratha? Because when he calls Rama, at that time, they don't want to waste their time by simply closing their eyes. Even though we can see the God, even though we can see Bhagavan in our heart, in our own heart, but that Bhagavan as incarnated as Ramachandra, as Dasaratha's son. So it's better we would leave our ashrams and we would stay in, we would create an ashram that is adjacent to Dasaratha's palace, such that it will be easy for us to come to Dasaratha's bhavan, Dasaratha's palace. In the pretext of advising him, we would enjoy Rama. We would drink that Rama's nectar to our eyes. That's what Sadashiva Brahmendra said. Pibare Rama Rasam Rasame. That Bhava Rishis had, the Maharshis had. Everyone were there. And everyone were looking at Dasaratha. And at that time, his main concert, Kausalya was Kausalya Shusve Tena Putrena Apitade Dasa. She was praying to Ruchamanopi Purusham Notramati Padyate. She was praying to Ranganatha. They were their Kuladeva, their ancestral deity, which is present in Srirangam. Currently, he is in Srirangam. That time, she was praying to her own ancestral deity that she wanted her son to succeed her father. That's not wrong. Because Dasaratha was getting older. He's, he's, he's in a stage of retirement. He must sacrifice everything. He must sacrifice all the pleasures which he had experienced previously, which he had assisted the Devas, all the pleasures, all the worldly pleasures he has enjoyed. And he did all the dharma, and he did all the dharmic qualities, he did all the dharma karyams to the people. Everything done. Kaam ho gaya sab. And it is time for him to contemplate on Bhagavan. That is what his ancestors had done previously. He wanted to follow whatever the dharma, whatever the principles that has been prescribed by his own ancestors. Like what do you mean by ancestors principle? Which I will elaborate it a bit by giving an example. Generally, for a person, okay, generally for a person to follow those principles, Generally, if you are traveling to Trichy, if you ask a person, this is the first time you're traveling to Trichy, that very next person would say, he would say that I would go to the place where my father had traveled, where my grandfather had traveled, where my forefathers had traveled, to the which route, to the next route, whatever the persons, hundreds and thousands of persons might have traveled, I would travel in the same place. But even though you may find shortcuts to go to Trichy, and those shortcuts were already found and already attained and achieved by the drivers who went to Trichy. The similar way I'm saying, Mahajano yena gatassa bantaha. Only to those, if you are following a sampradaya, if you are following a rules and regulation, that would give us a strength. And that is the reason for our to gain our inner strength. Which Dasarada believes in that. He firmly believed in that. At that time, he was looking at the people. He was looking at the people waiting for their uh, their request. Inherently, he wanted Rama to rule to succeed, but he wanted the people to he wanted to gain inputs from the people, which he started telling his own problem. Idam shariram kritsnasya. That he says that idam shariram kritsnasya. Look at my body. Pandrasya chatapatrasya chayaya vyanjanantava. And I had been sitting under this white umbrella. In Tamil, we say Venkotra Kodai. I have been sitting under this white umbrella, that is the Venkotra Kodai, and its rays illuminated at the same time, it has created a whiteness in my hair, which he started to the joke. And look at this body, Lokasya Charatapriyam, Idam Shariram Krishnasya. I had worked harder, such that the whole people would engage in dharma, such that the whole people would develop dharmic qualities. And they were at par with the king. Justrum Shakyam Ayodhyaya Navidwan Nachara Naja Nastikaha. There were two people. There were two people, just that one is not an atheist, another is not, even though he was knowledgeable. He wasn't proud of that knowledge. He wasn't proud of their own knowledge. He was composed, and no one were uncivilized. Na avidwan achanastika. Sorry. Neither they were uncivilized person nor an atheistic person. Literacy rate was 100%, which we see in Kerala it is around 90%. At that time, during the Treta Yuga, only in Ayodhya they were 100%. It has achieved 100% of literacy rate. Everyone was civilized. Everyone were courteous. Everyone respected others' feelings. Why? Because Manuna Manavendrena Yapuri Nirmitaha Swayam. It was started by Manu. The same Manu has set this Ayodhya city. He was the he was the reason for the construction of Ayodhya, and he was the preceptor. He was the first king of Ayodhya, and Surya Bhagavan, Lord Surya, is the preceptor of Ayodhya. Even though it had lot of credits and lot of advantages, and while they see Dasharatha, they don't see him as Dasharatha. They see him as an Amsa, an incarnation of Manu, which everyone were very happy. And everyone, they all spoke about Rama. As they said, Saturityam Prasadatma, Mridupurvam Chabashate, Uchyamanopi Parusham, Notaram Pratipadyate, Katanchid Upagarena, Krite Naikena Dukshati, Nasmarakti Apakaranam, Shatamapi Atmavattaya, Anuraktaha Prajabischa, Prajapchap, Chadachapi Anuranjate, Nashegasi Nato Yascha, Navirutya Kataruchihi, Uttarottara Yuktina, Vakta Vachaspatir Yata. Everyone, all the people, they were all praising Rama. They were all speaking good about him. Saturityam Prashantatma Mritupurvam Chabashate. He always greet us with his pleasant smile. Mritupurvam Chabashate. He would first speak. He won't let others speak. It's not that attitude. To start the conversation, he would be a first position to start the conversation. Like we'd say, English there's one saying, start with a bang and end with a bang. That's what his attitude Rama had showed. Mridupurvam cha bhashate. He would start with he would start very politely, and that too it was very soothing to others, and it would create an urge that why can't we listen to Rama's words, and why couldn't he prolong his speech? Everyone were enjoying. Everyone liked his lecture. Everyone liked the way he conducted with the people. Everyone liked this conduct. That's what Valmiki has started. Charitrena sa koyuktaha sarva bhuteshu kohitaha. One who's very excellent in his conduct, he must create a positive impression in others' mind. Because right now in this era, you see, many people they are good in conduct. The problem is to the other people, according to others' opinion, they would say he's training his body while he's observing Ekadasi Vrata. They would say he's unnecessary killing his own time. He's unnecessary eating his own body by following this simple fasting, this vrata, all are nonsense, which the people say. But in the case of Rama, Sarva Bhuteshu Kohitaha, he would do good to the people. At the same time, they would reciprocate what Rama has did good to the people, and vice versa, he would receive positive outputs from them. And that is the exceptional quality Rama exhibited that you can see in Ramayana, which Rama possessed. And at the same time, Ritupurvancha Bhasate, everyone they couldn't turn off their eyes, and they were ready to look at Rama, to look at Rama. That's what in before he got married to Sita, the people in Mithila they rushed. At one side they were looking at Rama. That's what Kabanatol said. Tol kandar, tole kandar, toru kabaram tal kandar, tale kandar, tarakkai kandar, agde, tol kandar, tole kandar. They were looking at his thick shoulders. Toru kabalam tal kandar, tale kandar. Some were looking at his face. They looked at his face. And that was their samadhi. And some looked at his feet, his gait. Gajasimha Gativiyo Shabdul Rishabhomo, as Valmiki said, he walked like an elephant. He walked like a lion. He walked like a tiger. Everyone were mesmerized by his gait. Turukavalam Tal Gandar, Tade Kandar, Tadakkai Kandar Agade. And everyone looked at his hands, which has created a samadhi in Mithila's mind. Because Mithila, in the people of Mithila, in Mithila's people's mind, which I can say, because they had the power to judge others. If a person converses with others, they are in a position to say on what purpose this person is speaking with others. For what purpose? For what purpose did he come here? For the purpose of visit, they are exceptionally good. But they couldn't judge Rama's appearance and for what purpose he had come. And in that way, you can understand that when Rama arrives, when Bhagavan arrives, that is the end of our own intelligence. To show an end to Mithila people's intelligence, Rama arrived. And everyone liked him. Katanchit upakari uchyamanopi parusham nautram pratipattate. To those people, parusham, if they speak harsh, I can say unparliamentary words. To the worst extent, I can say. If a person speaks unparliamentary words, uchyamanopi purusham nautram pratipattate, he won't answer. But he's answered Vali. First, Vali praised Rama. Later, he criticized Rama for his unparliamentary act. And to him, why Rama answered? Because he has uttered a word. Tammare ummai saal mrugakkellam moola mandirathai tammaye tamakku nalgum taniperum. He had uttered the word Rama. For that word Rama, Rama was enslaved. Rama himself was enslaved by the power of the Nama. That's why he told Anjaneya Swami that I would always be with you. Na kurmi sadusam priyam parishwangovi hanumata. He has expressed his gratitude to Anjaneya Swami because he always chants Ramanama. 24 bar 7 till now he is chanting. If you say Ramayana, if a person gives a discourse on Ramayana, at that time Anjaneya comes from nowhere else. Anjaneya Swami comes beside us. If he is physically present or not, but he is present, listening to Rama's divine qualities. So Uchyamanopi Purusha Notram Adhipatyate. To those people who was speaking very harshly, to them he won't answer. Because he knows if a person who is in a position or who is in a position of non-acceptance, if you give them an answer, n number of answers, they won't accept your answer. And later they spoke, later they enlisted the guna of Rama. Katanchid upakarena krite neikena tushadi nasmarati apakaranam shatamapi atmavattaya. And he's very, he had a sense of gratitude. He had an excellent sense of gratitude. What I can say, Katanchid upakarena. If a person does a small thing, krite neikena tushadi, he gets easily contented. That's why in Ramanavami, for Krishna Janmashtami, we had to prepare a number of dishes to satisfy Krishna. In case of Rama, even a chaiwala can celebrate Rama Puja. Even a cobbler can celebrate. Even a barber can celebrate. Even a beggar can celebrate Rama Puja. Why? Because nothing. You give him a buttermilk. You give him a chas. That is enough. In Tamil, you can say need more. If you give him a chas, for that he gets contented, like Lord Shiva. Katanchit upakarene krite neken tushati. Nasmarati apagarana. Shatamapi atmavattaya. He won't remember those who did mistakes. Those who committed mistakes. He won't bother. But to congratulate him, to motivate him, to console him, to him, he speaks to him because he would remind whatever the good deeds that person had did to him, which Rama, which your son Rama had exhibited, and everyone were ready. They were ready to crown. They were ready to. They were all waiting for an occasion to see Rama as our king, which everyone were expecting. All the people at that time, they said, at that time Dasaratha told that too he told in a joking way that it's like you don't like my reign. Weren't you happy? Did I do something wrong to you guys? It's Dasaratha has mentioned. As the people told, Bahavo Nripakalyanah Guna Putrasya Santi me Priyanandanan Krishnan Vekshamodyatan Shunu Amaha Satpurusho Loke Satyadharma Paraginaha Shakshad Rama Vidinvukto Dharmaschapi Siyasaka, and everyone was speaking good about him. That Bahavo Guna Kalyana. Even though he exhibited a lot of qualities and we weren't perspired by your reign, we were happy, but we wanted to express our desire that we want our Rama to rule us. And everyone were happy. And everyone was speaking high and merits of Rama and how he has engaged the people in terms of archery, in terms of entertainment, in terms of his character. All the roles I can say. He has showed how a perfect citizen of Ayodhya has to be, of the country, how the person has to exhibit, which he has showed everything. But Dasaratha was very worried how to express my desire to Rama and how can I console Rama, which he had told all the people and everyone were ready. and Vasishta Maharshi was ready. Everyone, all the arrangements were ready. At that time, under the instruction of Vasishta, Rama, along with his consort Sita, both they were dressed in traditional attire such to pray to their ancestor deity Ranganatha Swami. They all went. At that time, everyone were both of Vasishta had tied a raksha on Rama's hand, as well as Rama tied a raksha on Sita's hand because they were ready to take the kingship duties. And whatever the duties Vasishta had told, that is in Sanskrit called as Diksha. That all the, as per the Diksha, everyone has followed. Everyone followed. Every Rama was in his he followed. Sorry, Rama followed, and everyone enjoyed of looking at Rama. They were all looking at him continuously. And at that time, he saw a Purohit who is just now doing that profession for the first time. He don't know what mantra to deliver and what mantra to please God. And he didn't know the meaning. But he knew all the mantras because he has by-hearted everything. That I can say. He has by-hearted everything. He don't know the prayoga. He don't know how to use the mantra. Which Rama was equally well-versed in Vedas compared to Vasishta. But Rama taught him privately that while you're doing Punya Vachanam, you have to chant Pavamana Sutta. And while you're taking Snana, and that time you have to chant Agamarshana Sutta, which Rama teaches to that Purohit. And for installing the Kalasa, and Rama indirectly tells him that you have to say this mantra, which the Purohit gleefully says that mantra. And because of Rama's assistance, he has completely successfully did the puja of Ranganatha. Even though Rama can do the puja of Ranganatha, he knew all the Veda mantras. Why he couldn't do that? Why he couldn't? Which Bhagavan said, Yatiracharati Shreshtaha, Tattarete Rocharaha, Sayat Pramanam Gurute Lokaha Tadanu Vartare. He want to show the people how a Kshatriya has to be. How a Kshatriya has to be, even though he knew Vedas. He can chant the mantras, he can recite the mantras, that he can do. But he isn't supposed to do what a Brahman has to do, which Rama had showed in that quality. And in this scenario that Rama had shown. At that time, Valmiki says, Gate Purohite Ramaha, Snataha Niyatamanasaha, Sabatnya Visalaksha, Narayana Upagamate. They were all looking. The Purohits all were looking at Rama. What by looking at his observance, by looking at his how he performed the Diksha. Because we people might compromise. If a person does a Shraddha, he must be steadfast. And there are a lot of dharmas has been mentioned over there, which I can say, if I say it, about that, it will take a lot of time. So Rama followed whatever is prescribed in the Shastras, that for 12 nights he has to be awake. For 12 hours he has to be awake. He must not sleep. If he was tired, he can sleep on a mat, not on the pillow, not on the bed. Which whatever Vasishta had told, he had digested it, and he had followed that strict austerities. And at the same time, he was meditating on Ranganatha. By looking at Rama meditating on Ranganatha, at the same time, tears overflowing from the eyes. Sahabatnya Visalaksha. She was mesmerized. Narayana Upagamate. Of seeing this Narayana doing puja to that Narayana. Narayana Upagamate. And everyone were happy by looking at the aura of Rama. And one person who was jealous and who don't want Rama to be the king. And as per Dasaratha's instruction, Rama was about to be coronated as a Yuvaraja. At that time, all the preparations were taking place. and they were pomp and splendor. Everyone were happy. And at that time, Valmiki Maharishi had bought an atom bomb. Who is that atom bomb? Which he starts. Yatidasi yato chataha kekeya sojitaha prasadam chandrasankasham aruroha yaduchaya. Yatidasi yato jata. She's from a different place. Kaikeya sojitaha. Which Valmiki guesses that she might be an associate of Kaikeyi. Or she might have came from Kaikeya Desa. Kaikeya Sohositaha Prasadam Chandrasankasam Aruroha Yadruchaya. Suddenly she entered that Prasada. She entered the palace of Kaikeyi, which shows the arrival. At that time, she crumbled her face. She was very tensed. And she saw the people, they were very happy. Because in some cases, we see many families, especially those who are elder. If you see a boy, if you see a baby laughing, if you see a baby enjoying, some elders would say, don't laugh. If you laugh, something inauspicious will happen. Don't ever laugh. Like in Tamil, I would say, Siricha, idiye gundro, sirikada. Like some would say. And if a person goes behind food, he waited for 3-4 hours in Sarana Bhavan for 3-4 hours. And he was longing for a food. He ordered dosa at 8. At 10 o'clock, if dosa comes, the person would be very happy and he would devour the taste. At the time in front of him, an elderly person would say, don't eat like a gypsy person. Eat slowly, eat slowly. There's no hurry. If a person says that, what will the person would feel? The same attitude, the same emotion has been expressed by the people of Ayodhya. But even though she's an elderly woman, they couldn't express their anger. At the time, they were equally overjoyed. And they told, Madam, here our Rama is getting coronated. He would succeed our King Dasaratha. That celebrations is going on over here, which even more triggered Mantra. And she said, who is the drama? And why should you celebrate in a pomp and splendor manner? Why can't you control your emotions? Don't you know to control? Which Mantra told. And she suddenly entered Prasadam Chandrasankasam Maruroha Yadrichaya. Suddenly she entered Kaikeyi's palace. At that time, Kaikeyi was very happy and she was beautifully decorated and she was sleeping in a rajai. At that time, Mantra shouted, Uttishta Mude Kim Sheshe. Uttishta Mude Kim Sheshe. Suddenly she said, Uttishta Mude, hey fool, get up. Why are you sleeping? As if something good has happened. Why are you bloody sleeping? Get up. Hey Kaikeyi, get up. Which she ordered, which she shouted. At that time, Kaikeyi was very surprised. Who is that? Who is that old woman shouting at me while I was sleeping? And suddenly she looked up atop. At that time, she saw Mantra. And she welcomed her. Oh Mantra, come, idhar aaye. Come. With art of affection. Because many Ramayana, they say that while her father Ashwapati gave Kaikeyi to Dasaratha, he sent Mantra along with her, such that she would be comfortable in Dasaratha's palace, such that she won't complain that people in Ayodhya are ill-treating me. To give her a warmth, she sent Mantra. And at that time, the person who was supposed to be warm, who was supposed to be a calming figure to Kaikeyi, she's giving heat to Kaikeyi. Right now, Uttishta Mude Kim Sheshe. Instead of calling Maharani, Aputiye, instead of calling her to wake up with due respect, with due deference, she told with utmost authority, Uttishta Mude Kim Sheshe. A fool, Kaikeyi, get up. In a rude way, By looking at that, it has to be a chagrin to her. Instead, she welcomed Mantra because they were she knows her and vice versa for 20-25 years. So nothing bothered her. Her prestige wasn't to bother, but she paid heed to Mantra. Everyone and she told the news that our Rama is getting coronated. So I'm giving you this ornament, which furthermore triggered Mantra. And she said that, don't you know something inauspicious gonna happen? And you're telling me that our Rama is getting coronated. And you have even shared this necklace. See, I don't want this necklace. I would I would better banish this necklace. I don't want this necklace. I came here for your welfare and for your good. I'm here to advise you. Instead, you're avoiding me without thinking about the consequence. I'm thinking about your welfare. Kaikei, please understand, mark my words. Which Mantra told. And Kaikei wasn't in a position to listen to Mantra. And that was her mind. Because she always thought about Rama. You can say Kausalya Nandan Ram. But I will say Kaikei Nandan Ram also. Why? Whatever certificate and whatever degree he got, he would first report to Kaikei. And whatever birthday party happened, the first cake, the first dish would go to Kaikei. Which Rama had treated Kaikei as his own mother. That's why he has showered affection towards Bharata, which I can say as one meaning I can say. But she couldn't get rid of that of Rama. She loved Bharata, she loved Rama more than Bharata. More than Bharata, she loved Rama. As she was ready to avoid Mantra for that. But Mantra even further stressed that you would use that status. Right now, Dasaratha, who used to appear every time, who used to report you, whatever the kingship duties had happened, he would report to you. But once, when Rama got coronated, all the attention will go towards his mother Kausalya. And you would be the primary slave to her. I won't be a slave. To the slave, I would be a slave. I will also lose my position. So, Kaikei, think about it. Think about this consequence. You will lose your position first. Second, if Rama got coronated, he would ill-treat Bharata. And Bharata will be banished. So, you better reverse the plan. What to do is, previously you assisted your husband Dasaratha Chakravarti in Shambharasura war. While his conflict with Shambharasura, he was assisting the Devas. At that time, Dasaratha was mounted in a chariot, and his consort Kaikei was driving the chariot. At that time, unconsciously, the wheel got removed from its axle, and no one was there to repair. And at that time, Kaikei, she had exhibited her powers that at that time she kept her hand down, and that hand had become the wheel of the chariot. And with the help of that, Dasaratha won against Shambharasura, and that he has brought the victory towards the Devas. Even though by remembering the gratitude, Dasaratha asked her that what vows would you be asking? Which she asked Kaikei. And Kaikei told her, whenever the time comes, I would ask from you. Which the story Mantra told Kaikei. She told it around 20 years back while she was married. And that story she had recovered and she told Kaikei that you told me that story, you don't remember it. And now it's the right time to beg Dasaratha, to ask Dasaratha for boon. And Kaikei was wondering, Even though it's the right time, I know your feelings that I might lose my kingship position. I won't be a royal queen. I'll be a slave to Kausalya, and my son will be ill-treated. Which I keep in mind. I understand your feelings. I understand your concern. But what to ask? I don't know what to do. Which she asked Mantra, and Mantra told, one thing you have to do. You don't wear these ornaments and all. Better go to the Kopagraham, the place for rehabilitation, the face for rehab. If a person who's short tempered, the best way to put an end to that to put an end to that temper is he has to be isolated. That's what we did for the pandemic. To prevent its circulation, why the pandemic, why people has to be isolated? Because to prevent the circulation. The same thing, Mantra advised Kaikai that you go for isolation. Better you isolate yourself and don't wear these ornaments. Better you remove all the tilak and all the bindi and all the bangles which you wore, as well as the foot ring. You have to remove it. Better remove everything and you pose yourself as a widow. That is the one way you have to do. By looking at thy condition, Dasaratha would be entrapped and he would be forced to ask you alms. That is the way, and that is the smartest way you need to entrap Dasaratha. There's no other way. And she asked, when shall I do? Give me a day. Tadeva lakram sudilam tadeva. Generally we do for Sankalpa. The same way Kaikai asked, on which day shall I commence this drama? Because you have to keep a schedule. Generally for a pravachan to conduct. On which day, venue, location, time, and till what time. You can't go like an express train, and you can't go like a tram. You can't go like a tram, which was a previous mode of transport in late English era, British era. You can't go like that, because if there is a start, there had to be a conclusion. That's what occurred in every human's life. If a person, even though he had no samskara, he was born in a samskara. He was born in a family who barely knew about samskara. For the past 20 to 30 years, he studied everything. He worked in a very big company. But because of his association with a samskara ladki, with a girl who was enriched in samskara, he learned all the samskaras. And just he learned the half and crux of the samskara. And at last, he has departed the body at the age of 54. That shows the end, and that shows the that shows the temporariness of this life. What I meant to say, the human life is like that only. That's what Shakespeare said in his 7 stages. All the world is a stage, and all men and women are merely players. In the first stanza, he is told in his poem, very good poem. Everyone has to read it. Instead of reading Macbeth and King Lear, you read this poem, and that comes under excerpt of As You Like It. In that he mentions all the world is a stage and all men and women are merely players. We are all our players. We are all our actors. The whole world is the stage. That is what Tyagaraja said. Kapata Nataka Sutradari Vai Kamita Palamo No Sange Rama in his Kirtana Upacharamlo. That's what Rama, that's what he's running the show. He's running the cinema. We are all our actors. That shows the temporariness of this life. And there must be a start and end of the thing. Which she asked that on which day shall I start and which day shall I conclude? And Mantra was told, immediately you have to start. Tonight, you must not stay in your bhavan. You leave everything. All the belongings, you throw it aside. And you have a white cloth with you. White or black, anything. If you are having a white cloth, better wear it at 12 a.m. At midnight, you stay there and you switch off all the lights and fan, you everything you switch off, and you go to the next room which no one had rarely entered that room. That is the Kopagriha. And by listening to that words, she has sacrificed everything and she went to that Kopagriha. And the same pomp and splendor occurred in Dasarada's Bhavan. Everyone were happy. Everyone were overjoyed. Everyone were enjoying. And that time, Dasarada was very, very happy that all the ministers they approved. And Vasishta was ready and he already fixed the date. On the date, Rama has to be coronated and he has bought vessels and he has bought gallons of milk, gallons of cow's milk to do Divya Abhishekam on Rama. And at that time, Dasarada was in a mood. He called Rama and everyone wanted to see Rama. At that time, Valmiki has given a beautiful sloka, Gandharvaraja Pratimam Loke Vikyata Paurusham Dirgavahum Mahasatvam Mattamatangagaminam Chandrakantananam Ramam Ativa Priyadarshanam Rupa Audarya Gune Pumsam Drishti Chittapaharinam Gandharvaraja Pratimam. And they all express the desire. Gandharvaraja Pratimam is an equivalent of the Gandharvaraja. Gandharvaram Chitrataha, as Bhagavan said in Gita. Who is the Gandharvaraja means his beauty is equivalent to Chitrata. Or his beauty is Chitrata himself. Loke Vikyata Maurusham, apart from his valor, apart from his glamour. Loke Vikyata Maurusham. He would make the world tremble by his Bhuja Balam, by his Paurusham and by his valor. Dirgha Bahum Mahasatvam. And even though he was very powerful, his physique is even more appealing. Because in Mahabharata, there was a person called Vrigodara. Generally in film, we present Bhimasena as a fat person. Sorry. Generally, we present Bhimasena as a fat person. But in Mahabharata, it is depicted that Vrigodara, his body, his belly is very composed. His belly is inherently inside. His belly is very thin. Like a wolf belly, his body was like that. His stature was like that. But here in Ramayana, Dirgha Bahum, he had a very good physique and very good muscles. Mahasatvam, if he had a very good physique, is he arrogant? Is he did he had a pride that he is from a very big family? Was he proud that he was Chakravarti Tirumagan? He wasn't like that. Mahasatvam with high qualities. Matta Matanga Gaminam. Matta Matanga Gaminam, like a elephant who had lost its own senses. That is the beauty of its gait. Similarly, Rama walked like that. Chandra Kantananam Ramam Ativa Priyadarshanam. People were very happy. Rupa Udare Gune Pumsam Drishtachitapa Harinam. This image, the very good image, captured our hearts. Whenever we close our eyes, in that, in our mind, in our Antaratma, Rama is there. That's what he said. Sakala Janati Maji Antarasthiti Magat Kuma Prati Kaya Vinati. The same thing Samatra Ramdas said. By keeping the Ayodhya Kandam in mind. Rupaudare Gure Pumsam Dishti Chitta Partner. Same thing he told in Marathi. Rupaudare Gure Pumsam. He had that very good form. Audarya, who would always uplift others, who would always in a mind that how to do something benefit to the hero. What can I do to others? He had that mentality. And Audarya Gunehi, his attributes, Drishtichittapa Harinam. Even though when I close my eyes, that make us think inherently, which the people are told. At that time, he requested Sumantra to call Rama. When Sumantra went to see Rama, he had saw Rama sleeping on Sita's lap. Tadasa Suta Paryante Sovrane Sotrachade. Bhavande Varado Undi Vinagyo Vinitamati, which Valmiki says. And he bended with folded hands, he fell on Rama's feet because he he wanted that Darshanam to visit. That's why he was here for so many years as a charioteer as well as a trusted minister aide to Dasaratha. Why he was doing the job? Not to just please Dasaratha, to see Rama and Sita together. That's why I told the Upanyasam, for starting Upanyasam, Vibhushyaha Drashtumima Amareshwaraha. With that, the Balakanda concluded that last, the small sloka. Ataiva Rama Shusive Itashaya Vibhushya Drashtumima Amareshwaraha. Like Bhagavan stayed with Sita. Bhagavan stayed with Sita. Bhagavan with Sita. Bhagavan lived with Sita in Ayodhya for 12 years. It's like Vibhuhu Shriya. Like Lord Vishnu and Lakshmi resided in Vaikunta. That darshan he expected. He saw that moment. Bhavande Varado Vani Vinagyo Vinitapat. He bended. And suddenly Rama came out. Rama suddenly woke up and he saw Suta doing namaskara. And he caught his hand suddenly. And that time, at the time he told and he requested Sumantra, any order did our Maharaj say? And he told, he wanted to see you. Which Rama mounted on Sumantra's chariot, and everyone were looking at Rama. And everyone, they all proclaimed, Yascha Ramam na pascheyam, Yancha Ramo na paschyati, Nindita Sahavai Loke, Swatma even Vigarhayet, Yascha Ramam na pascheyam, Yancha Ramo na paschyati. We are all blessed to see Rama. If a person who doesn't see Rama, who hadn't seen Rama, Swatma eva Vigarhayet. It is the shame of being born in this era. We are privileged to be his contemporary because we are here to see this is Chittapaharina, to see his divine body. We are here to see Rama. We are here to drink Rama's nectar. The same Baba has been converted by the Ayodhya people also. And everyone followed him. And his troops, they were ready to stop the people. And they were not in the state. They were in the state, they were in the urgent state to see Rama, everyone were ready. And Rama, by understanding the people mentality, he waved his hand and he waved his both hands, and suddenly people were very happy and they were contented by looking at the darshan. And Rama suddenly went to Dasaratha, and Dasaratha told that, and Dasaratha spoke about what the king has to be, and he has given a detailed Upadesa, or not Upadesa, I can say Upanyasam. He has given a detailed Upanyasam on Raja Dharmam and how a person has to do when he became a king, and what he has to adhere. All the principles Dasaratha told Rama, and Rama was listening. No emotion, and not a state of excitement, and not a state of exaltation. Nothing has been seen in his face. He was listening continuously, I can say. And Dasaratha was perplexed. He was surprised. He couldn't predict Rama's body language. Is he inherently happy? If he is inherently happy, he would see some smile in his face. There wasn't any smile. If he's unhappy, he would have exhibited some tantrums in front of me. Nothing of such. Nothing. He was listening. And I couldn't even predict what is going under his mind. What is going in his mind, I couldn't predict. I couldn't say. And Dasaratha was very shocked. He was taken aback. And he asked, Rama, what do you expect? I'm here. to answer your queries. Whatever questions you ask, whatever doubts you have, you ask me at this moment. Which Rama told, I have no questions. And what is in your mind, Rama? Which Dasharatha told. Rama told, I had nothing in my mind. I was just listening to what are the dharmas which our forefathers has prescribed in Raja Dharma Shastra, which I have listened. Nothing comes in my mind. And Dasharatha was either happy or he's surprised. Valmiki couldn't express that state, such that he has kept in a state of suspicion. Suspicion means in a positive sense, I can say, not in a negative sense. That he couldn't express Rama's emotions. Then slowly Rama went to see her mother Kausalya. She was always chanting, she was always doing Parayana. And she was always doing puja to Ranganatha. And at the time after she completed her puja, she gave the prasada to Rama. And she asked, what did your father say? And Rama told, my father was lecturing about kingship duties, Kshatriya Dharma, about Raja Dharma. My father was speaking about that. But I couldn't express my desire in front of him because I had maintained that respect. I couldn't put an end to the respect such that I can't ask him one question. I can't ask him one single question to him. So I accepted. I just listened to whatever he has prescribed previously, whatever he had told. But I want to express my desire to you. And that has even more surprised Kausalya. And she told, you are old, man. You have a concert. And you have a family. And still you are very nervous to express your desires to your own father. Which Kausalya told. And Rama told, yes, mom. I still have that nervous. But what is my inherent desire? Shall I express it? Go ahead. And Rama told, I had that inherent desire that I want my... And as my father told me that I am his successor to be the king of Ayodhya. But I want my son, I want my brother Lakshmana, Bharata and Shatrughna to rule along with me. That is my main desire I expected. Which Tulasi Das had said, Janume jag sabu jag bhai. As Bhojan Shayan Kare Bihara. As we all were Karnavit Upabit Vihara. We all were born on the same day. In the same year we were born. The days might be different. Days as well as stars might be different. But we all studied under the same Guru Vishwamitra, same Gurus Vishwamitra and Vasishtha Maharishi. And whenever we were offering prasada, we four, Bhojan, Shayan, Sahev, Bihara, we four together sat on a same mat and on the same plate, in the sense we both enjoyed, we both devoured together, Bhojan, Shayana, and we both slept on the same cot. Saher Vihara, Karna Vid, Upabid Vihara. On the same day, our ears were being pursed. And we all wore the sacred thread. And at last, marriage also occurred on the same day, on the same muhurta. Everything happened on the same day. Why? Because God has given such a wonderful family. I can say, we four are united. We four have the same mentality. That's all. Sarve sarva vidasuraha, sarve loka hiterataha, sarve jnanopasampanna, sarve samudita gunaihi, which he has seen in Rama Avatara. Rama's incarnation, we have seen in Balakanda's 18th Sarga. Sarve sarva vidasuraha. They were equally equipped in archery and warfare. Sarve loka hiterataha. And they all behaved in a manner such that the people the citizens of Ayodhya will be overjoyed, will be proud. Sarve Jnanopasampannaha. Everyone had the same IQ, I can say, by using this word. Everyone had the same IQ and the same foresightedness they had. Sarve Samudita Gunaihi. They were equipped with high attributes, which we all have the same characteristics. If I have the characteristic of ruling this kingdom, it is improper to same to Bharata. It is also applicable to Lakshmana as well as to Shatrughna. All the four had the same quality and the same characteristic, and they are all born to rule the kingdom. But I insist, I desire, I want my brothers to rule along with me. Instead of having one Simhasan, I want four Simhasan, which Rama expresses his say to Kausalya. And Kausalya, no other words, she hugged Rama. That's it. No other words she can say. And suddenly, Dasarada went to Kaikeyi's Bhavan. When he saw that, no one were there. He searched for Kaikeyi because he married Kaikeyi out of love and out of compassion. He married her. He had that utmost love. He loved her a lot because of her timeless, ageless beauty. At the time when he went to Kaikeyi Bhavan, no one was there. And from her maid, he knew that she is in Kopagraha. She is in a rehabilitation center. I can give the exact translation of that. She is in a rehabilitation center. And that has even more shocked Dasharatha. What? I came here to deliver a very good news. How can she go to rehabilitation center? What is her inherent problem? Which by consultation, which by consoling, which by consolation, I can make her happy because Kaikeyi would listen to me. And she was the first person who supports me wholeheartedly. So it is my prime duty to support Kaikeyi, which out of affection, Dasarada went to that Bhavan. At that time, he saw Kaikeyi in a dilapidated state. And he controlled his emotions. He told about Kaikeyi, about the preparations and how the Maharshi spoke about Rama and everything they have told. And previously, Kaikeyi had got 2 boons, which Mantra had told. Right now, I'm telling it because Kaikeyi asked those 2 boons that as Kaikeyi decided, as she was in a positive opinion of Rama being coronated after Dasharatha. But when she expresses to Mantra, and Mantra told, send Rama to 14 years, send Rama for exile. That too for 14 years exile. Chadurdasasrani Dandagaranya Vasitaha. For 14 years, Rama has to, Navavashani Panchasa. Rama has to be sent for exile for 14 years. That too he must stay in forest. And whatever the arrangements which Dasharatha made, it has to go impromptu to Bharata. Bharata must rule the kingdom, which she had imprinted, which she had stuffed the poison on Kaikeyi's head. And with that poison on her head, she hooded like a serpent. That's what is said in Valmiki. I'm telling the translation of that. If I tell the slokas, it will take more time. So she hooded like a 5-headed serpent. Like before it charges, it first hoots to give us the negative signal that beware, don't mess with me, which the serpent does. If a person goes beyond that, it bites. The same way Kaikeyi did to Dasharatha. She was like a 5-headed serpent, oozing venom from her mouth, spitting venom from her mouth. At that time, Dasharatha was highly speaking about Rama. It has curbed anger in her own heart, and she told, even though you are the Satyasandha, you don't sway away from your truth. Which the people say, I am asking you some And that has puzzled Dasharatha. What woe? That too, I promise all the Devatas, all the Vanadevatas, and all the 33,000, 33 crores Devatas, and all the Devatas, I promise them, you have to gratify me the boon. And that has even more and more puzzled Dasharatha that why do you go behind those Devatas? I am the powerful person. If you ask me anything, I would give you that moment. And why she's doing that? And why she's creating tantrums? And why she's throwing tantrums? Which Dasharatha couldn't understand. And she told, and he was speaking about Rama. And Kaikeyi stopped him in the middle. And she said, send that person to forest. And whatever the arrangements you have kept for Bharata, you have kept for Rama, do it for Bharata. Bharata has to be coronated. And that hadn't worried Dasharatha. But his main worry is, what wrong did Rama do? He was always following the dharma. The Kshatriyo, he never swayed away from dharma. And what wrong did he do? Like, whatever you say, if you want to bail a murderer, I would do. If you want to hang an innocent person, I would do. And if you want me to kill a cow, I would do. I'm ready to do. But don't send my Rama to forest. I do for Vanavas. I'm not at all interested. We must go to Vanavas. And he's around 25 years. And what's the point in sending our Rama to Vanavas? We have to go to Vanavas. That's what Vardhake Munivirtina, which Kalidasa said in Raghuvamsa. Vardhake Munivirtina. Vardhake, when a person was entered the middle age stage, Munivirtina, he has to be a Muni. He has to be a mendicant. He must sacrifice everything. Mendicant means in the sense that leave everything and go to forest. It's the colloquial meaning for that. But as per this criteria, as per the Kali Yuga, everywhere you go, if you go to Rishikesh, there'll be a lot of distractions. There, if a person goes to do tapas, at that time, hundreds and thousands of Yavanas, foreigners are there. Ashrama Yavanescha, as said in Padma Purana and Bhagavatham it is said. And in Ashrama, they were circumlated by Yavanas. And they spoil the austerity and they spoil the sanctity of the ashrama. Everything will get spoiled. And if you go to Badrinath, there Badrinarayana is he's just a vigraha. He's just an idol. It's just a museum over there. There won't be such bhava. There won't be such expression. There won't be such emotion to worship Badrinarayana. And there won't be such bhava in that place where Nara and Narayana are still doing tapas. There, it will be called as a pilgrimage tour, so-called pilgrimage tour, and it is a tourist spot, which we put it in Tourism Authority of India, and we just market it. It will be a marketing center rather than a place where we can sacrifice all the belongings. And here Dasharatha stressed that Vardhake Munivirtina. And for us, generally people in Kali Yuga, how to attain the stage of Munivrittina is never be attached with whatever the things along with us. If you have given your children for marriage, if a child got married, better don't interfere in their matters. The best way what you have to do is, if they ask for dharma, if they ask for any upadesha or advice, you better give them. You better advise them that this is right and this is wrong and this we have to follow. Which you can give them the manual. But if you interfere in their matters, that's all. Your life will be hell. And you would worry for that. And they will outsource you for everything. It's first starting from if their child have reached kindergarten, They would coerce you to drop your grandson to school. Take your grandson, that is, take your grandson to school and you will be forced to tell them stories. What stories means? The stories that is showed, that is circulated, that is telecasted in the TV. Those stories you will be forced to say. And while you're reading Parayana, at the time that boy would come, he would disturb you. All the problems will take place. And for you to reach that Vardhake Munivritti Nam is we detach from the family. And that is the reason, and that will store your half of the energy as your mind would call, will be in a position to contemplate Bhagavan, on Bhagavan. And that Dasharatha stresses on Kaikeyi that we are in the position to go to Vanavas. And why do you curse Rama for that? Curse Rama for that. He didn't do any such crime. He was a very good person. Everyone liked him. And no answer came from Kaikeyi. And that has made it, and Dasharatha suddenly collapsed. And one day had passed. And at that time, Sumantra came to look at Dasharatha. He wasn't available in his own palace. He went to Kaikeyi Bhavan. At that time, it was like a haunted house. No one were there. No one were available. And from her maid servant, he came to know that Dasharatha was in Kopagraha. He was in rehab center. And that is even more surprised Sumantra that what was our Maharaj's problem? He was fine last night. And what was his problem? Out of curiosity, Dasharatha went there and he saw that he was half awake. So he was continuously chanting, Rama, 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 Rama. He was continuously chanting Rama, 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 Rama. And he looked at Kaikeyi about the condition. And Kaikeyi said, Oh charioteer, hey Suta, I am speaking on behalf of Maharaja. Bring Rama here. And Dasharatha saw, today is the day of coronation. Today is the day of Pattabhishekam. And why Kaikeyi is in this attire? And she would call me with due respect. And why she is calling me in a rude manner? And why she addressed me as Suta? Something is wrong over here. Something inauspicious is occurring over here. Something bad is something wrong. By controlling his emotions, Sumantra slowly went to bring Rama the same darshan which he saw, the same darshan he got, and he requested Rama to come over there. At that time, he saw that he saw Dasharatha's state, and Dasharatha was half awake. He couldn't see, and he was touching the pillar, he was touching the cot, and he was touching the cloth. Where was Rama? Where was Rama? Where was Rama? He was looking hither and thither. He couldn't see Rama clearly. And when Rama gently, carelessly touched Dasharatha, then he has got his vision restored that, oh, my son Rama is over here. And Rama was about to ask Dasharatha that, how are you? And how was your position? Did you sleep properly? Which Rama was about to ask him. And that time Kaikeyi intercepted and she told, nothing, Rama. He was very worried as he couldn't keep up his own truth. And he has just now promised me that he would send you to 14 years of Vanavas. And he don't know. And he was puzzled that how you would stay in Vanavas. And he didn't know. And he was in a palpable state that how can he convince you for the sake of Vanavas? Because with this pleasant face, I told Rama that yesterday you would be coronated. And with this a similar face, I will be telling Rama to go to 14 years of exile. And, and that's on that state Dasaratha was, which Kaikeyi told verbally. And Rama was very puzzled. And he told, Aho, din argase devi, Bhaktunna idisi tava. Oh, Amma, mother, Aho, din argase devi. I couldn't expect that words from you, mom. And she told, Rama, don't pretend. I won't be, I'm not mesmerized by your performance. 14 years you have to go to exile. You have to sacrifice this royal attire which you are wearing right now. You have to throw this aside. You must wear you must wear a cloth that is decorated, that is observed, that is originated from the tree bark. Valkala. That is originated from the tree bark, and you must tie your hair, you must tie your matted locks. You must wear a jata. With this appearance, you must be in the forest for 14 years. Will you follow it? Are you ready to follow it? Naham mattaparodehi lokamacham ujjahe vriddhima rishivitulyam vibalam dharmamashitaha. And that was Rama. You thought if we were in the position, we would have called people who are favorable to us. We would have created a separate party. Kaikeyi Goliga, which would have been a position. We would have cursed Kaikeyi by throwing tantrums, and we would have arrested the Kaikeyi. Which if we were in the position, we would have done that. And at the same time, we would also curse Dasaratha. And we would say, this Dasaratha is illiterate. Yesterday he would say one thing, tomorrow he would contradict the same thing. What is going in his mind? Was he learned by Kaikeyi's beauty? Because of that Kaikeyi, he has given us an utter bullshit decision. So, it's better I kill him. I slay him. And obtain the kingship. That's what has happened in the Mughal Empire dynasty itself. Wherever you see, if you see the timeline of all the Mughal empires, mainly Aurangzeb, he was banished, he wasn't allowed to succeed Shah Jahan's throne. So, he slayed all the four brothers and he has imprisoned his own father Shah Jahan. And Shah Jahan asked one desire. My last desire is I want to see my Mumtaz in Taj. Please create a window. Which, by hearing the dying man's request, Aurangzeb forced his troops to build a Taj Mahal. By simply gazing at the Taj Mahal, Shah Jahan passed away. You see that plight. You see that tyranny in Mughal dynasty. As Rama wasn't that kind of a person who was ready, was in a position to arrest his own father to give him to give him the worst farewell. He wasn't in that position. Aham artaparo dehi. I am not after this wealth. Viddhimam rishivistulyam. I am not greedy of this kingdom. Viddhimam rishivistulyam. I am equal to the Maharshis. Vimalam dharmamashitaha. Who follow the same dharma as shown, as designed by the Maharshis, which Rama has firmly convicted. As firmly he told with firm conviction, he addressed Kaikeyi, and Kaikeyi was little surprised. I can say she was little surprised, and Rama was very sad that he couldn't raise his father. And Dasaratha told, forget her words. You succeed me, and better I'm responsible for you for your 14 years of exile. Better you arrest me and take this king and be the king of Ayodhya, which Dasaratha told. And Rama slowly he didn't pay heed to Dasaratha's words. And why Dasaratha told that? Because he was worried about Rama. 14 years he will be sent to forest. Who will take care of him? He was really concerned about Rama. That showed his paternal affection. That's why Matvidaha Pitu Putraha. Later he told in Yuddha Kanda, Matvidaha Pitur Putra. There is no one equal to my father Dasaratha Chakravarti. And he praised himself. That another meaning you can say. But he has given that he was given the paternal status to Dasaratha because he was in a position to sacrifice himself to make his son coronated as a king, which Rama politely neglected it. And he was very tense that how can I convince my mother Kausalya? And she, after completing Ranganatha Puja, she came with the Arati and with the Prasad to bless Rama. And Rama slowly told the information, incident to Kaikeyi, Kausalya, sorry. So, and she was in a position, she wasn't in a position to accept this. And he tried ways to convince her. Katam unchena vartayet. Like, you will be going alone in forest, 14 years of exile. Who will feed you? And who will serve you? Better, we'll come together. You take me. And he said, and Rama here spoke about Pativirtyam, about Stri Dharma. How a housewife has to be. Which you are having a husband, you are having a very good, wonderful husband. How can you sacrifice him for the sake of son? Since you are the royal queen, you are also a subject, primary subject of the Ayodhya. How could you sacrifice your husband? And by elaborating the Sri Dharma in that way, he has somehow convinced Kausalya Amma. And later, he was all the things was overlaid by Lakshmana. And he was he was in a rage. He was in full rage that he couldn't tolerate the unjustness Kaikeyi had done. He couldn't tolerate injustice Kaikeyi had done to Rama. As well as his injustice nature, insensitive nature, for the sake of crowning her own son Bharata, she was ready to banish Rama for 14 years of exile. For his heinous act, Lakshmana told, with the fate, we can win by our valor. We can conquer the fate, which Lakshmana told. That sounds very interesting to us. In Tamil, you say Vidiyal Madiyal Velalam, which Lakshmana told, and Rama liked this way because of his bhakti, because of his love and affection which Lakshmana showered towards him. And Rama slowly gave him the Dharmopadesha that Dharma Viruddho Bhuteshu Kamospi Bharatarshabha, as Bhagavan said in Gita, Dharma Viruddhaha Bhuteshu. That I won't be present in Dharma Aviviruddhaha. I will be present in Dharma Viruddha Aviviruddhaha. There in Dharma which is of no malice, where the Dharma which is not of which is unselfish, where the Dharma which benefits others people, to that Dharma Arjuna I will be there, which Bhagavan reinstated in Gita. The same thing, Dharmat Artha Prabhavate, Dharmat Prabhavade Sutam, Dharmena Labade Sarvam Dharmasara Vidam Jagate, which he had firmly spoke about Dharma. And that way, halfly has convinced Lakshmana. And he was thinking about how to convince my consort Sita. Because she's 18 years. She's not, she has just now entered the stage of adult, which we can say. She don't know how could she handle the situation. And he was thinking, he was worrying. He has somehow convinced Kausalya Amma. He has convinced Kausalya Amma by telling about Charitram, by telling about how a chaste woman has to be. But how can I convince my own concern Sitamma? Which he thought slowly, he clasped his both hands and he entered his bhavan. At that time, Sita greeted him. And he slowly telling the worries and what are the consequences of going to the forest, the two single-handedly, the two alone, one person. If a person goes alone in forest, what are the consequences? There would be lot of tigers, lot of lions, and at the same time, thorns are there. If you keep your leg over there, your leg would be pricked, and all the animals are over there. Better don't go. You stay in the forest. I think you are a daughter of Janaka. You have to be treated with utmost prestige. As that prestige, my brother Bharata will take care of you. Better you stay in this forest. As I told that Sita had overheard or not, she has overheard what Rama had told to Kausalya. And she told that and she Rama Jamatram Prapta Sriyam Purusha Vigraham. And she sarcastically remarked Rama that Rama Jamatram Prapya. It is the mistake, it was a mistake my father has committed. Striyam Purusha Vigraham. Raman Jamatram Prapya. What was the mistake I have committed is Striyam Purusha Vigraham. You are you are, even though you look like a person, in your mind you exhibit all the woman qualities. You were worried about my well-being. At the same time, you were worried about all the animals circulating in the forest, and you always thought about my welfare, which she kept in mind. And she looked at that Rama's first emotion. She told us Sriyam Purusha Vigrah by telling that Rama told her, and Rama told her in a playful banter, such that, and she also convinced, and Sita told him that you have told you have advocated your mother about the Pativrita Dharma, about how a chaste woman has to be. All the qualities she has to exhibit. And what about me? I am your wife. I must also exhibit the same quality which you expect from your mother. Which she addressed, and which she told her story that my astrologer had viewed my palm, that I am destined to go to forest. And if you tell me that Sita, don't go to forest. If you tell me, and what is your emotion? What was your emotion? And if you ask me, I would say, I'm extremely pleased to come along with you in forest. Because whatever the palmologer, whatever the astrologer has seen through his astrology, let his words be fruitful. Let his words be of a positive effect, which she has put on credit on her family astrologer. And slowly, Rama, Sita, they were ready to leave the forest. And Rama wore the garment that is obtained from the tree bark, from the bark garment Rama wore. And he also tied for Lakshmana. And Sita was struggling to tie that ornament. And Vasishtha couldn't, even though Vasishtha was silent at that incident, he couldn't tolerate it, and he shouted at Kaikeyi for her heinous crime, for her injustice, that even though she couldn't she couldn't know how to tie that ornament. And how do you compress her, and how do you force her to tie that ornament? By hearing those things, Dasaratha gave her all the things, and Rama himself tied an ornament for Sita. Everything, Rama did everything. And before he left Ayodhya, he gave all the ornaments, all the money, everything. He distributed everything to people. He donated everything. And at that time, when Brahmana came, Trijata, Rama was about to leave that forest. He was about to leave. At that time, Lakshmana was about to meet his mother Sumitra. And Sumitra told, Ramam Dasaratham Viddhi, Mam Vitti Janagatvaja, Ayodhya Atavim Viddhi, Gachatata Yata Sugam. Lakshmana, don't worry. I have begot you for the sake of you serving Rama. Because for the sake of you serving Rama, I have begot you. That is my main purpose, and that is my main kartavyam. So, don't think that we are missing Dasaratha. You see Dasaratha as Rama. Damam Dasaratham Viddhi, Mam Viddhi Janagatmaja. Don't think that you are missing me. See me as Sita. Ayodhya atavim vitti gachata yada sugam. And don't ever think that you're leaving Ayodhya. Think the entire forest as Ayodhya. Gachata yata sugam. By saying that, she blessed Lakshmana. And at that time, Trishita came. He didn't even know what to ask. And his wife was very worried. Very old Brahman he was. She told him that Rama was gonna leave this house. Before he was going to Vanavas, he, he was giving, he was donating he was donating all his belongings. So better go and stand near Rama. You don't need to ask, go. Which she forced the Trijata. And slowly Trijata went to Ram's Darbar. At the time, almost the donations were getting over because both competed together. Rama gave more, Sita gave less. On the other side, Sita gave more, Rama gave less. Both competed. And at the time, the donations were about to get subjected to get over. At that time, Trijata stood over there. The Brahman, he carried his stick. He don't know what to do. What else shall I do? Which he was standing in a puzzled manner, and Rama told, with your utmost power, you throw your stick elsewhere. The how much kilometer and how much meter if you hurl your stick, from that hundreds and thousands, from that the cows will come to your own place. Which Rama told Trijata. And slowly Trijata hurled his spear out of strength, with utmost strength which he had never ever tried. He threw the stick, and the stick had crossed across the river Sarayu. And from there, hundreds and thousands of cows came near his feet. And by leaving, he blessed Rama with Veda mantras, and he left with contented mind. And everyone were leaving. Everyone looking at Rama. Everyone were really, they wanted to see Rama in a royal attire. All the incidents happened in Ayodhya. No one know outside Ayodhya. Everyone were looking. They were ready. They were desperate to see Rama. Everyone saw Rama. At the time, everyone cried. Everyone were ready to sacrifice everything for Rama. First, Valmiki showed the Maharishis. They communicated to Rama that, Rama, I am ready to leave everything. I am ready to leave this ashram for the sake of to enjoy your presence. I have left everything. I have built an ashram adjacent to Dasarat Bhavan to daily see you. I have did everything. But ever since you're leaving this forest, I would sacrifice everything. In front of you, I will do the tapas. In front of you, I will do the penance, which the Maharishis told. And some Brahmins, they were continuously performing the yajna. When they heard the incident that Rama was banished for 14 years of exile, they all came in front and told, Rama, don't leave us. Without you, our yajna is not fulfilled, because yajyo yajyapatir yajva settles Sahasranamam. He is the yajna swarupa. The same Vedas said, yajyo vai Vishnuho. Bhagavan is Mahavishnu, the yajna swarupam, is the embodiment of yajna. That even though you are the embodiment of yajna, without you, this yajna is fruitless. So wherever you go, wherever you stay, wherever you reside, in front of you, in front of your hut, in front of your premise, I will conduct my yajna, which all the Brahmins told. And the children, they all liked Rama. They often come to palace to see Rama. They all express the disappointment that, Rama, don't leave us. In front of you, we would play games. In front of you, we would call you for games. Which the children, they express their desire. His friends express their desire. Everyone have expressed their desire, expressed their despair that they have lost their Rama. And Rama slowly went. He told Sumatra to take the chariot, and Dasharatha, He was a Chakravarti. He was of high status. Lost everything along with his 375 wives. Atta Satta Satani. As said in Ramayana. As as Ramayana starts with Dasartha along with three consorts. Kausalya, Sumitra, Kaikai. Those were the head consorts. Actually, he had 350 consorts. Sorry, 350. 350 wives. Rama, Dasartha came along with 350 wives. They all followed the chariot. And like a layman, he was shouting, Rama, don't leave me, and don't sacrifice me. Please take the kingship duties. I don't want to see you, I don't want to miss you, which Dasartha cried like a madman. And and Dasartha request Sumantra, stop the chariot. I am missing my Rama. I'm losing my eyesight. I couldn't clearly view my Rama. Stop the chariot. Which Sumantra told Dasartha ordered Sumantra, and Sumantra is in a perplexed state. Whom to follow? I am carrying Rama as a charioteer. Another, another role. I am a trusted aid minister to Dasartha. Whose order am I supposed to follow? At one side, Dasartha is begging me to stop the chariot, and on another side, Rama is telling me to run the chariot. Which order am I supposed to follow? What am I supposed to do? Which the Sumantra was very confused. And Rama, who was firm in his conviction, ordered Sumantra to take the chariot. Thus, it's, as we say that, if Rama tells Sumantra to take his chariot, it shows that Rama was extremely heartless. That doesn't mean that he was heartless. He couldn't see his father falling, rolling on the ground in that palpable way. He didn't want to see that. If he sees that, he would get down from the chariot, and for the sake of his father, he might stop that oath he had taken previously. To put an end to that, he didn't see his father. Even though he heard his father's words, he didn't see his father. He ignored his father at that moment. He kept his mind controlled. Internally, he was crying. I know. Internally, he was crying. Because every son must have. If father is there, if father is departed, he must have that inherent emotion that he couldn't see his father suffering. That mind Rama had. And he ordered Sumantra to run the chariot. That too very fastly. And all the people, as Dasharatha couldn't match the speed with the chariot, all the people from nowhere else, they all were ready to stop the chariot. They were ready that Sumantra, and they all ordered Sumantra. Here Dasharatha begged to Sumantra, and all the people they ordered Sumantra, they conditioned Sumantra, Sumantra, don't do such crime. Don't do such heinous crime. If you take Rama, you have to trample our thousands of lives. We would stay here. Even though you have forfeited Dasharatha's words, you can never ever forfeit our words. Which all the people were ready. And Rama, by looking at their bhakti, he couldn't resist them. He couldn't resist the lone war with them. Like what he did for Karadusana, and what he did for the Ravana's troops in Pataloka. He couldn't do that because he had won them through love. By sheer love and affection, he had melted them. So he told, Matpriyatam Vijayasena, Bharate sa vidhiyatam. Show the same love to Bharata, which Rama has told. And by looking at that time, Kausalyama was also there. But some say that Kausalyama was blessed him before he left to do chariot. Which I can say it another way that Kausalyama was there before that. She blessed Rama. She blessed Rama by saying that Yanmangalam Sahasrakshe Savadeva Namaskrite Vridhanase Samavadu Tatte Bhavatu Mangalam. Yanmahangalam Sahasrakshe Sarvadeva Namaskrite. Like how Aditi Mata blessed her own son Indra for his victory over Vritrasura. The similar blessings I would shower it to you, Rama. Yanmangalam Suparnasya, Vinata Kalpayattuma, Amritam Praptaya Nasya, Tatte Bhavatu Mangalam. Like the same Vinata who was a consort of Kashyapa blessed Garuda to get the Amrita from the Devaloka. The same blessings I would pass it to you. Like Amruto Padre Detya, Gato Vajradasya, Aditi Mangalam Pradat, Tate Bhavamangalam, Amruto Padre Detyat. To the to the Asuras, to the demons who had snatched the Amrita, Ambrosia from who had snatched the Amrita from Dhanvantri, and they were ready to conquer, they were ready to learn the Amrita. To them, Aditi Mangalam Tara Tate Bhautu Mangalam. As Aditi Mata blessed Indra for their timeless victory towards the Asuras, the same message I will be ready to give it to you. Teen Vikravam Vikramato Vishtoho Amita Tejasa Edasi Mangalam Ramaha Tate Bhavatu Mangalam. And the same Devatas who had lost their all the properties uh, properties when Mahabali performed the Vishwajit Yaga under the under the instruction of Shukracharya, Asura Guru. And Devatas, they were not, they were elsewhere, they were nowhere. Their whereabouts weren't found by the Asuras. And everyone came in disguise and met Aditi Mata. And she observed that Payovrata, that is the story, entire story is in Bhagavatham. She observed that Payovrata by offering milk to Bhagavan. And Bhagavan, out of her firm devotion and her firm conviction towards that austerities, Bhagavan blessed her that I would be born as your own son. After he was born as her own son, and Bhagavan came as Vamana. And the same Aditi Mata blessed Vamana to worship all the wealth from the Asuras and bestow it to the Devatas. The same blessings I would be here to bless Rama, which Kausalyama blessed Rama. By receiving all the blessings, Rama went to forest. And Rama went to forest at the same time staying with all the people. And that has created a joy that I have controlled, and I have somehow convinced Sumantra to have an association with Rama, which everyone were happy. And that as a result, Rama has created a delight in everyone's mind. With that, I will be stopping this today's Pitruvakya Paripalana session as of now. The next month we'll be starting from next month we will see Guha Sakyam, Guha's friendship, and very most important part of Ramayana, that is Paduka Pattabhishekam. Janaki Kantasparanam Jai Jai Rama Rama Sadguru Swaminaha Jai Anjaneya Swaminaha